I want to show you this drum set a little better and show you some of the stuff I've done, give you a little more in-depth review. I've been making a lot of videos with this and having a lot of fun, but I haven't said much about it. And if you pick one of these up yourself, which honestly I encourage you to, because I've been having a lot of fun here. Um, there's a discount code in my description to get 5% off. But anyways, I want to show you this thing. So first thing I did when I got it put together, which wasn't too hard to put together, honestly. It took about, it could have took me a half hour, 45 minutes, but I always see how things are, how they're supposed to be, and I immediately change things. Like, for example, the way this is supposed to be set up is these two toms, and then this, and this goes right here, right? It's actually a really nice little compact layout, but I'll get into it. But honestly, I didn't want it too close to this. I wanted to be able to have easy access without encroaching too much, right? So I moved this over to this bar, which also has the module on it. And that's kind of like a meet in the middle as far as exactly what I wanted to do. Um, when I play drums, like my acoustic kit, I play a single bass drum kit. But because I play double bass, I see my snare as the center of my kit. So if I have two toms, I actually like to have them offset from the bass drum. So here's my bass drum. Here's my other foot, which is a theoretical bass drum, dead center. So when I have a snare dead center, I want my toms right out from dead center, right? Kind of like, you know, corresponding with my feet. Feet are here, snares here, toms are right there. Okay. So my first thought was to take the snare and put it right in between the toms, right? That would have been beautiful. Because you can see I got the pedal moved over to the side a little bit. It would have been perfect. But the module in combination with the hi-hat stand, you find out you need to come up with a compromise. So ultimately, I moved my snare over a little bit. And I gave myself a roomier experience. I feel like there's something better they can do with the module as far as placement, but then again, I have fairly easy access to it while I'm playing, so I you can't really complain too much. It's you can't let these things discourage you. I mean, ideally, I would have preferred to have my hi hat right here, and my snare would have been here, and it would have changed kind of like my whole dynamic. Um, but if when my hi hat was right there, this bar didn't have enough reach for to access uh, the module on the other side of the hi hat. This is the best I can come up with. And since I had it like this, I thought, well, this is a great opportunity to use some of this real estate. And I took this symbol, which was originally supposed to be mounted here, right? And I put it right there. So these are the games you got to play, and it's there's nothing wrong with that. Um, let's see, the snare. I feel like the response on the toms seems a little better than the snare. I understand that the cool thing about these is you can tune these that kind of tighten up your felt, or what should I say? Sorry, not felt. The mesh heads, you can tighten them up to give yourself a better response. But I don't know. Maybe it's just because of the angle. I could work out my angles better. Maybe because it's such a, the kit is at the angle that it's at with my body size. I've considered lowering down. In a way, I kind of feel like I'm hitting into it with the top of the stick as opposed to kind of gliding across. That's the other thing with this. With these snares, you have it's a dual zone, but it's what it means is that whenever you hit the rim, you get one of those side stick sounds. Okay. Now, being an acoustic guy, and it's baked into my playing that every time I just play rim shots all the time. I feel like if I have the whole body of my stick contacting, you get such a bigger impact. Okay. My first problem on playing this was, well, when I go for the rim shots, which again, I don't even call them a rim shot. It's just me hitting the snare, right? I would get the side stick sound. Okay. So I would prefer a rim shot over a side stick, but that's just personal preference for me. Uh, but there were ways. I found a way to get around that because the first few times I played it, I was like, oh man, I'm getting into it. I'm playing like a breakdown, and all of a sudden you get a side stick instead of like that, a nice snare, and it's like, oh, dude, it takes all the wind out of your sails, right? Uh, but what you got to do in the module, you go into the pad sensitivity on your snare, and you turn the, uh, the rim sensitivity up to 6. Okay, because that way it's much harder to mistakenly do a side stick sound. Okay, so basically, whenever you turn up your rim sensitivity, you're decreasing its possibility uh, to trigger the rim. Okay, and that goes for any of them. It could work to your advantage or it could work against you. For the snare, it worked to turn down the sensitivity. So if I really wanted to hit it, I have to be deliberate and hit it. Right? Uh, Now for the hi hat, I turn the rim sensitivity to 1 because if I'm going between closed hi hat and open hi hat, I do not want any misinterpretation of what I want. There needs to be high articulation on the hi hat, so I turn the rim sensitivity down to 1. I turn it way up on the snare. Okay. As far as pad sensitivity on this, now I notice that if you're at 1, you're going to have full impact at basically a small hit or a big hit. 2, you get a little more grace. You might get a little bit of a small hit, but it takes hardly anything. You're getting a full impact hit. 3, okay, now you actually kind of got to go. You actually got to hit it like normal hard to get a decent size hit. I think it goes up to 6. Okay, so once you get up to 6, you barely when you hit it full impact, you hardly get a full impact sound. Okay, so again, these are all very important depending on what drum it is, what situation you want. Okay, when I first turned this on my first time and I played around, first thought is okay, cymbals are too loud. Well, the cymbals are too loud, just period. Okay. I mean, if I have a bass drum and a snare and all the toms and I'm doing that stuff, I do not want this stuff to be the same volume, right? I want to be able to like hit cymbals like a normal person and not have them drown out everything else. Okay. So first thing I did was turn all the cymbals down to 60 to 70. Uh, like the hi hat, the ride. I matched those as well. Like 60, and I kept all the drums at 100. Okay. So let me plug this in. Okay. I hope this video is somewhat tolerable. Okay. So that's the other cool thing. I mean, the way I'm recording this, I'm just recording straight into my phone. I have a gaming headset on, I'm going to plug this into my little adapter I have, which if you're interested is a Sonito Live A10. I made a video on those too. You know what? Here. That's what it looks like. Okay. So I got my headphones plugged into this thing. And now I'm going to take this, which is the audio out. I might as well get into that. It has a line out for your audio. So you can either run to speakers or your computer, whatever you want. You could do like mono recording that way. Headphone jack. Audio in, say I wanted to take a track to play along with. I could run that into here, or anything you have audio. You want to accompany it, you run that into here. USB. So I am a Luddite. I don't know how to use MIDI. I always just thought MIDI sounds like a cool demon or something. But turns out it's musical instrument. Musical instrument digital interface. That's what it means. And it's like, dude, why haven't I been interested in figuring this out? So USB out, you'll be able to send all of your drum information to your computer, and say you have like a drum library, drum software, you can swap out all the drum sounds that come with this. Essentially turn this into a really cool controller, a drum controller. But I'm not there yet, okay? But this thing is fully capable of doing that. Now, I notice I'm gonna have a hard time showing you anything on here unless I turn this down. Okay. So, right now, you turn it on. Here's kit number 1. There's a little scrolly wheel here. That'll change your kits. There's 30 kits. Okay. I'm going to go back to 1. Okay. So there's only a few buttons. A menu, a down, up, and that's all you need to worry about as far as navigation here, okay? So kit number 1, I'm going to hit down. And it's going to say kit volume. It'll usually be 120. I turned it down to 100, okay? You can keep scrolling down, and it'll give you all the kicks, snare, it'll give you all the sounds that are assigned to kit number 1, okay? But you go back to kit number 1, hit menu. There's 3 different little sections in the menu. It is tempo, sensitivity, and utility. Now, utility, I'm going to roll down. It's your reverb level, EQ, and these are just kind of global settings, okay? So whatever you set here is going to apply to all of your drum kits. And you can see that it times out after 3 seconds. So everything you do has to be pretty quick, right? So menu, let's see how long it takes. 2, 3, yeah, it takes 3 seconds and it'll time out. So any activity you do has to be done quick or it'll automatically go back to the home page, right? So I'm going to show you utility. I don't want that. I want sensitivity, pad sensitivity, rim, threshold, crosstalk, retrigger, velocity, volume. All right, boom. See it timed out already. I'm going to show you all the volumes on my kit. I'm going to plug this in. Kit number. So symbols at 44, 57, 54, 50C. Oh, it timed out. So you want to change it, use a little scrolly wheel. Okay. Excuse me, I was really hoping this would have went a little better. This is hard as hell with my little lighting situation. So you change that. Boom. See now, because I have activity going on for more than a second, it'll stay on this thing. when you let go and don't do anything for a few seconds, it will default back. Watch. Yeah, see? So anyways, let's check this as well. Okay. Those are my suggested settings as far as what I get out of this. Okay. So I want the snare to have decent response. Oh, excuse me. Pad sensitivity. So I set all the pad sensitivity for 3 on the toms. So I want it kind of default to a full impact more often than not, but still have a little bit of a little subtlety, right? In case I need it. Same with the snare. Um, people might bag on electronic drum kits, but a lot of the times it is personal preference by the person playing it. Uh, I can choose to have a less electronic uh, sounding drum if I dialed it in, right? So a lot of times it's a give and take. Um, I mean, it claims to have 6 different sounds, and the snare, I don't know. I don't know. Because again, whenever you turn up the pad sensitivity, you actually lose your ability to get full impact hits, but you have all the nuance, right? Um, so I play somewhere in the middle. So most of my stuff is set at like 3 for the pad sensitivity. Velocity, I can't tell if 1 is full impact or if 3 is full impact, honestly. And I think there's only 3 levels. But I encourage you all, when you get this, is just menu up and down and just mess around. And it's really easy to save stuff. I mean, menu, once you get that thing, you hit save, it says do save, and boom, it's done. You get yourself into a mess. It's real easy to reset everything back to factory default by using that save button, save reset. You hold it long enough, it'll switch from save to do not save. Do not save will wipe the whole thing out, kind of clear everything out and put the levels back at everything will be at 100. All of your sensitivities and thresholds and stuff will be at their defaults, and you can start over. Bitch. I will say with this hi hat, I had some issues with it at first, and I'm glad I had the time. I took the time to kind of figure it out because I would hate to get something like this and then lay it on the company for my ignorance, right? Um, because I've never played an electronic kit before, I really don't know what pad sensitivity, threshold, crosstalk, uh, like all what those different little categories, what they can do. And I found that, like, because at first I thought this thing doesn't have the response that, like, if I want to do double stroke, full impact rolls, like, it's really easy to do that. Couldn't get that same kind of response on the hi hat, but I found that, yeah, it was me, not the hi hat, right? Because this is a fully functional hi hat that, um, I mean, honestly, is in better condition than the one I use on my real drum set. Uh, And that kick pad, man, I haven't tried my double bass pedal on here yet, but the response on this kick pad, man, is just freaking great. I love the feel. I love the pedal that they come with. I mean, I'm playing with the pedal that came in the box, and it's good. It's good, you know. Um, like I said, I had the issue with the hi hat. I haven't had a single issue with the bass drum as far as like double triggering or not triggering. It's freaking great, man. It's perfect. Okay. So my big suggestions. I mean, if you're a rim shot guy, go into your module, turn up your rim sensitivity to 6. On your snare, hi hat, uh, put your rim sensitivity at 1. Okay. Um, I'm still trying to figure out what crosstalk is. Now, I would assume crosstalk is if I hit this, that just isn't disembodied in its own universe. It somehow kind of bleeds in with all the other sounds. Well, I found when I turned up the crosstalk, I didn't really get that. Um, for whatever reason, I felt like if I maxed out the crosstalk, I started losing notes on whatever it was I had crosstalk on. Uh, so again, I don't know. That just might be me not knowing better yet. Keep the crosstalk at like 5, and everything sounds pretty legitimate. Well, folks, I think that's all I got for you. But yeah, I have a lot of fun on this thing. And again, if you'd like to pick one up, uh, there will be a discount code using my name, Josh Steffen, in my description. Okay. Fesley was nice enough to reach out. We like what you do, and we would like to send you a drum set. Give it a shot, give it a review, and share it with people. Let them know what you think. And that's my honest opinion here, guys. Uh, I like it. It's a lot of fun. Now, if there's anybody out there that can teach me how to route MIDI, if you're knowledgeable of MIDI and stuff, and specifically with like Reaper, I use Reaper DAW on my computer, Windows, and the Fesley FED1000. But that's it. That's all I got for you guys. Hopefully, I didn't blab too much. And thanks for watching. And thank you to Fesley. Okay. So, all right. Bye, folks. Oh, have fun. Did I just spit a little bit at the camera? I think I did. I thought I saw a little. Maybe you. I don't know if you'll see it, but okay. Bye.